First, the highlights. Lagos State government calls for strict adherence to building codes and regulations. Federal government flags off national pasture planting exercise to revitalize grazing reserve. On the foreign scene, Ukraine's Zelensky, Germany's Merz meet after call with United States President and European leaders. And in sports, Abia State set to host over 200 players in Para Badminton Championships. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has called for strict adherence to all building codes and regulations to curb collapsed building incidences across the country. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated this at a one-day sensitization program on incessant building collapse in Nigeria and the launch of the Lagos Certified Structural Integrity Program, CSIP, organized by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. In collaboration with the state government, Governor Sanwo-Olu commended the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development for its foresight and commitment in organizing the program in collaboration with the Lagos state government.
All of this, our stakeholder engagement and our proactive actions is taking a proper line and is beginning to have impact. The ripple effect when it happens is always far-reaching. Fatalities, injuries, and loss of property is not what any government will fold its arms and see happen. Lagos is a city of ambition and it has rapid growth. But with growth comes the duty to ensure that the safety of life and property is paramount. That is why we must move from reactive responses to proactive strategies.
In a keynote address, Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, noted that the administration of President Bola Tinubu is committed to ensuring that safety and structural integrity become non-negotiable principles in Nigeria's building sector. In his welcome address, Permanent Secretary, Office of Urban Development, Golan Oki, noted that in Lagos, the Sanwo-Olu administration has taken bold steps in line with the Themes Plus agenda to strengthen building control, enhance compliance, and deploy technology in monitoring and enforcement from the Certified Structural Intelligence.
It's not the work of government alone. It's the partnership between policymakers, regulators, professional bodies, developers, and the community we serve. This workshop brings all of us into the same room to share knowledge, align strategies, and strengthen our resolve to prevent avoidable tragedy.
Special Advisor to the Governor on Electronic Geographic Information System (EGIS) and Urban Development, Olajide Babatunde, said the state government is committed to building a resilient city while putting measures in place to stem the tide of incidences of collapsed buildings, with the reintroduction of regular inspection of construction sites to ensure the right materials are used.
Today, the Honorable Minister through the Permanent Secretary, you started an initiative across Nigeria. This is something that we embrace in Lagos. We've been doing this for a number of years.
Our correspondent Adeola Akinlele reports that the event attracted stakeholders from the built industry, including Association of Iron Benders, professional plumbers, building material dealers, developers, among others. The Lagos State government has ruled out a traffic management plan ahead of efforts to improve the drainage system on Modukpe Alakija Crescent, Ikoyi, and its environs. Commissioner for Transportation Oluwaseun Oshiemi, in a statement, said there is a need to connect the newly constructed drains via a cross culvert to the underground channel beneath the median along Osborne Road, Ikoyi Itiosa LGA, hence involving a counterflow arrangement along Osborne Alfred Wani Road. spanning of approximately 100 meters from Mudugbe-Alakija Crescent to the Alfred Wani Road junction. Oshiemi said the construction of this cross culvert will require cutting a section of Osborne Road between the four foreshore towers, explaining that the work is scheduled to commence by 10 p.m. on Friday, 15th August, and end by midnight on Sunday, 17th August. Motorists heading to Osborne Road from Alfred Wani Road will be diverted into a contraflow lane inbound Osborne Road before reconnecting to their normal lane, while motorists inbound Alfred Wani Road from Osborne Road will be restricted to one lane to allow for the counterflow. For alternative routes, motorists from Osborne Road heading towards Alfred Wani Road should use Oba Adeyemi Oyekon Avenue to connect to Glover Road, Lugard Avenue, or Cameroon Road to continue their journeys. Motorists heading towards Osborne Road from Alfred Wani Road should use Glover Road, Lugard Avenue, or Cameroon Road to connect Oba Adeyemi Oyekon Avenue before continuing their journeys. Oshemi said while the road will be fully reopened to traffic on Monday, 18th August, officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, will manage vehicular movement along the corridor to minimize inconvenience. Victims of the recent flood in Yola town of Adamawa State have urged the federal government to investigate the role of a mining company whose dam released excess water on the day of the incident. The incident, which occurred on July 28, affected about 4,000 households, with 23 lives lost and many others hospitalized. They also alleged that officials of the state have absolved the company of any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, the Adamawa State Commissioner for Environment, Mohammed Sadiq, said the company's activities are in compliance with laws and regulations. Sadiq explained that water is a critical component in mining processes and that the construction of an earth dam or reservoir is standard industry practice. And now to the rest of the stories. The federal government has launched a nationwide initiative to revitalize grazing reserves, starting with a formal inauguration of the National Pasture Planting Exercise at the Kawu Grazing Reserve in Boari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. Minister of Livestock Development Edi Maiha said the project is a milestone in sustainable livestock development, environmental conservation, and the promotion of peaceful pastoral practices. Maiha explained that pasture planting is a key component of the government's renewed strategy to modernize livestock production, urging herders to embrace modern management techniques to curb farmer-herder conflicts, boost milk production, and strengthen national food security. FCT Minister of State Maria Mahmood expressed optimism that reviving grazing reserves in the territory will foster peaceful coexistence among communities. She described the initiative as a strategic government intervention that will not only enhance harmony, but also boost agricultural output and food security in the FCT. The Lagos State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has mourned the sudden passing of councillor representing Ward C1 in Ibeju-Lekki local government area, Honorable Oluwakemi Rufai. Rufai passed away in the early hours of today after a brief illness. The Lagos APC, in a statement by its spokesman, Sheye Oladejo, said Rufai's demise, barely 2 weeks after taking the oath of office, comes as a painful shock to the party, the people of Ibeju-Lekki, and indeed all of Lagos State. It said Rufai, the only female councillor sworn into the Ibeju-Lekki Legislative Council, was a rising star within the APC, who embodied the values of commitment, grassroots service, and gender inclusion. The party notes that her dedication to community development and her unwavering loyalty to the ideals of the APC were evident even in her brief time in office. It extends condolences to her immediate family, the Ibeju-Lekki local government, her constituent in Ward C1, and all who had the privilege of working with her. Now to foreign news. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is speaking alongside Germany's Merz after holding talks with United States President Donald Trump. The talks between Zelensky, the US, and European leaders comes ahead of a Trump-Putin summit on Friday. Prior to the call, Trump said European leaders wanted to see a deal done and we're expected to reiterate that no decision should be taken without Ukraine when the US and Russian presidents meet in Alaska. Trump said last week that there will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both Russia and Ukraine, sparking concern in Kiev and across Europe. Meanwhile, Moscow has reiterated its conditions for peace and demands, which neither Kiev nor Europe see as viable. In our sports, a total of 224 players from 20 African and non-African countries will converge on Umuahia, Abia State capital, for two major para badminton events scheduled to take place between September 30 and October 12. The competitions are the first Abia Para Badminton International Championships to be held from September 30 to October 5, and the All Africa Para Badminton Championships from October 6 to 12, both to be staged at the International Conference Center ICC Badminton Ground. The events are being organized by the Badminton Federation of Nigeria (BFN) and the Abia State Badminton Association (ASBA) in collaboration with the Abia State Government and its Ministry of Sports. According to Abia State Deputy Governor and Chairman of the main organizing committee, Ikechukwu Emitu, the championships have been approved by the Badminton World Federation (BWF) and the Badminton Confederation Africa (BCA). India and Nigeria lead in the number of participants. And that's all for the news. At 4, stay alive, make use of pedestrian bridges where available. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961, YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM live on My Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration trained 250 residents in an entrepreneurship mentorship program? You can get more details on the Lagos State government's website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has called for strict adherence to all building codes and regulations to curb collapsed building incidents across the country. The federal government has launched a nationwide initiative to revitalize grazing reserves, starting with the formal inauguration of the National Pasture Planting Exercise at the Kabul Grazing Reserve in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. We also told you that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is speaking alongside Germany's Merz after holding talks with United States President Donald Trump. And in sports, a total of 224 players from 20 African and non-African countries will converge on Umuahia, Abia State capital, for two major para badminton events scheduled to take place between September 30 and October 12. For contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Adiswa Ejoyoka. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good afternoon.